to be talking about taking back control of your money and ultimately solving your money problems. So that's what the Money School Essentials 3-day class is all about. If you've been to one before, which I know a lot of you have, I've seen a lot of people that are buying it again to come this weekend. That's awesome because, as you know, we bring in different experts and speakers typically on different trainings. So we have people coming in talking about notes investing, talking about flipping land, not having to deal with toilets, termites, and tenants. So we just have a little bit of everything, whether you're an active investor looking to get out there and hustle and just start, kicking off your wealth growth, or whether you're looking for more passive strategies like private money lending, private funds, or following the strategies that Sodi teaches through stock market investing and things like hedging. We got a little bit of everything for everybody on there, as well as a bunch of bonuses and all the fun things that we'll be doing. So I see over in the comments section, the chat section over there, Shauna actually just posted the information for it. So if you want to register or if you want to check out a little bit more about it, go ahead and click that top link. It's moneyschooltraining.com/registration. And then Chris and I actually did 3 preview events leading up to the 3 days. So the preview events actually are going to go into some detail and some education on topics that we don't have time to cover during the 3 days. So I would highly recommend, especially if you're attending the 3-day, watch those previews before you get there Friday morning, or at least watch as much of them as you can, because we're going to set up some of the more basic information and basic knowledge that'll prepare you to get as much as you can out of the 3-day training. And one more thing I'll add before we get rocking here is, if you can't make Friday or one of the days this weekend or any of them, it's no big deal. We do record the entire thing except for 2 little bonus sessions on Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon. Otherwise, we record the entire event and we give you the recordings as soon as they're ready. They're uploaded into the cloud and into the internet world. We send them out to you that day, and you have access to all those recordings basically for forever. So you can log in and watch them anytime. You'll get access to the file vault, which are all the tools that Chris uses that Chris used and developed to flip over 260 houses and still uses today to evaluate properties. We give you all that included with it. And it's $297 for everything, just so you're aware. You get 30 days of access to MSTV. You get a free self-directed IRA out of it, which is a $350 typical fee. That we waive that for you if you go through our affiliates at Horizon Trust. So there's a bunch of other stuff that I can get into, but those are kind of the main points right there. So it's all there. That's going to teach you the foundation. And then Money School Essentials is going to basically launch your journey into financial education. This is the starting point where all of our students first start. All right. So this Money School Essentials 3-day class is going to be the foundation for everything else that you're going to start doing as far as taking back control of your money and learning things like compounding interest and learning how to get your money out there working for you just as hard as you work to get that money in the first place. So this is from 20 years of Chris's experience, being 16 years as a high-level financial advisor, into his career now as a real estate investor and now America's #1 money mentor. This has been my journey out of college as a financial planner, switched over into a real estate investor, switched over the last over decade of my life doing money and real estate investment trainings, coachings, and these kinds of educational things. So we have the experience. This is stuff we've learned, we've done, we're implementing and doing every single day ourselves. All we do is we bring you the education, the tools, and the experts so you can do the exact same thing to multiply your money, create a legacy for you and your family, and put yourselves on the right right journey financially, because there is a lot that's going on right now in this country. There's always a lot going on in the country, right? But we're right now at all-time highs as far as stock market, prices breaking records, as far as real estate market. Again, prices are up over what they were in '08. So there's a lot of things happening with changes in administrations and new laws coming in place. And, everyone you talk to believes at some point things are going to be corrected. How far they come down or what happens, that's something we can discuss and talk about, and everybody has an opinion. But the bottom line is something is going to happen and we need to be prepared for it. So whether that's positioning your retirement account, taking control of that money and either using it, hedging, or getting it out of the stock market, whether that's just learning, hey, what can I do with my money right now? So when things do start to turn, I'm in a position to take advantage of those. Because I'll tell you one thing, when '08 hit, a lot of people lost a lot of money and a lot of foreclosures happened, but there was a whole nother group of people that were ready and they created millions and millions of dollars for themselves by getting in low. And Warren Buffett said it best: buy low, sell high, and don't lose money. And that's what it's all about. So looking forward to everyone that's going to be on for the 3-day training. And if we have a little bit more time when Sodi's done, I'll get into a little bit more of the details. And I did want to teach a little bit about some of those basics. But if we don't have time, definitely watch those preview events. The links are over in the comments section. And they're also on the registration page, so you can watch them directly from there. But with that said, I know that Sodi has some really awesome, powerful training planned for you today. So I'm going to kick it over to him and let him take over for right now. So Sodi, thanks for being here, my friend.
Thanks a lot for having me. It's a pleasure, always. It's been a while, so good to see everyone. Excuse me if my voice is a little bit harsh. I just, but yeah, so today we're going to talk a little bit about, I kind of wanted to share something that I've never shared before, a little bit more with market trends, a little bit more with, what we are seeing, some other data people may not have, previously seen or anything of that sort. So I just had a bunch of charts and a lot of cool stuff here prepared for everybody to kind of walk through and, discuss and, show them what's really happening in the markets and what we're doing and what we have planned. So before I dive into that, yes, like, Steven said, I will be performing at the event as well on Sunday. I have something special planned for them as well. In our last bonus session, I remember we gave a little bit of a preview about that. But for those of you who were not there, we have like a lot of participants. That's awesome. I'm currently working on, basically seeing how our 10-10 hedging method, which we've talked about so many times. I'm sure everybody's heard of us talk about hedging and everything related to that. So we were basically working on, back testing and seeing how that method would have worked during some of the, the biggest downturns recently that we saw in the market. So I just wanted to share that with everyone, and we're working on that study, and we're going to show, what that really looks like and how we did it back then and how you can do it as well. And we also have, a big announcement. We kind of did give it away, Chris. We did make that announcement then about, what was coming after the 3-day event. We also have our very first 10-10 workshop that will be happening 2 weeks after this weekend. So like April 10th will be the date. Officially, we will launch it on Sunday, so you guys will be able to sign up. We will have a panel of experts in different trading asset classes. So we'll have someone from, stock equity trading, someone maybe from futures trading, someone from, cryptocurrency, and I'll be covering options. So we have a wide variety of experts from different asset classes coming together to put a 1-day, single-day event for everyone to talk to them, share with them the best ideas, their approaches of the market. And the best of all, and I know hopefully that doesn't scare anybody, but just so you know, it is a free event. It will be a free event. So we will open up the registration Sunday. Be on the lookout for that, for the session then. I will make that announcement then, but it will be a free event, April 10th, mark your calendars. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome event. So before I dive into this, for any of you who have registered for this upcoming weekend event and who are planning or, are still considering, I wanted to do something special for everyone who's been with us for so long and has kind of supported us with everything and has seen the value we provided. I will post in a link halfway through the presentation in my chat. I'm specifically for 10-10, we are hosting a giveaway. So we are going to be giving away 3 1-month free subscriptions to our Trading Ideas. So that's about a $95 value. We will be doing, about 3 of those. They're all random, so we will be giving away 3 of those. And we will also be giving away a coaching session, one-on-one with me for some random winner. So, if you are really interested in and you have signed up, that's awesome. I will post a link in the chat soon, and you can fill out that form. And then on Sunday, we will announce who is going to be getting those prizes. And then we will have those 3 sessions and then the one-on-one coaching available, and I'll announce then who won. So if you haven't signed up and you are, if you were interested, hey, that's a great way to go, because there's a lot of, we wanted to do this for everyone. But as I said, we have a 10-10 workshop coming up as well. So I have something planned for that as well. So if you don't win this time, don't worry, there's plenty more opportunities. Somebody asked, will the 10-10 event be recorded? I believe we will be recording it, but I think we will be uploading it for Money School members. They will have access to it free. But if you're not a Money School member, I think you can purchase the recording. But again, more on that I will get to as we go this Sunday. But anyway, let's bounce back today to what I have planned for today. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. Just a disclaimer, if you really want to read it. Anyway, so I always like to start my day, or whenever I'm trading or I'm like studying or something of that sort, with a quote. And this is probably one of my recent favorite ones. It's by Victor Sperando. It goes, just like in poker, where you have to know which hands to bet on, in trading, you have to know when the odds are in your favor. I think that's what really sets, not only good traders, but any professional, any any executive, any entrepreneur, any real estate investor, anybody, to know when the odds are in your favor, because you become an expert by understanding the market you're in, the area you are in. And when you know the odds, what do? You actually follow through better. You follow through hard. You go big, because the odds are in your favor. And just like trading, that's what makes, that's what sets apart really, really good, excellent traders from just average daily traders, because somebody's betting all their money or all the same amount every time. But when they know the odds are in their favor, they know they have to go big with that, because that winner is going to set apart everything else that they've done before. So again, knowing the odds in your favor is very important. But you're just not going to know, like, out of every day, oh, today the odds are in my favor. Whatever you're doing, you practice, you become good at it, and you see the market. And I'm going to speak in terms of the markets. You see the markets, you trade the markets, you follow the markets, you study, you look at charts. Doing so helps you understand when the markets and the things are in your favor. So practice is so key. And again, we'll talk about that as I go through. But I wanted to share some cool charts here with everyone. What we're looking at right now is this latest, fear and greed index. Usually this is one of those, it's a CNBC index. It's one of those where whenever there's extreme greed in the market, we're always seeing a bottom, we're almost seeing a high. When there's usually extreme fear, we're usually at a low. So I like to look at this every week, just because it gives me a good idea to see, what the market's doing, where it's at, and things of that sort. This is another one, Bank of America, bull bear index. Again, like I said, I wouldn't know where the market is if I wasn't looking at certain things to know what the market is doing. So it's important to keep up with certain charts, certain information, to understand, okay, well, here's the market is. So I know this might look like a lot for everyone, but I'm kind of primarily just focused on the very left graph, chart 18, just to see where the market is, and are we extremely bullish or extremely bearish. So again, going back to what I said, it's important to see where the market is. We have to see where the market is, what it's doing, because otherwise we wouldn't know where to go. Okay, this one I absolutely love. So I've recently found this chart. It was a survey by Deutsche Bank and noted by Bloomberg. This literally actually read, and it's awesome. It's hilarious. Hopefully you guys can see it. That individuals aged between 25 to 34 with online brokerage accounts, they said that they plan to use about 50% of their stimulus checks. Okay, 50% of their stimulus checks to buy stocks. I thought this was awesome. I thought this was hilarious. But this also gives us an idea. We're like, okay, well, there's a lot more people who are still eager to come back, in the market. And you can see these numbers are so high with the younger generations. Like the 18 to 24 is 40%, 25 to 34 is 50% of their money they're planning to put. So somebody is like, it's interesting to see that everyone is realizing the opportunity the stock market has to present, and they're understanding, they're going out, they're seeking out ways to get better at it, to understand it, to put odds in their favor. So we are seeing like this rise in everybody wanting to understand the stock market, what it's doing, and where it's like, how they can profit, like just what we talk about at the Money School, how you can take control of your money. So we are seeing such large amounts of inflows, and we're also seeing just, this, call it awakening, to see that, hey, the stock market may not just be this crazy, extreme for the elite game that we thought it to be. Maybe it is something that an average retail investor can participate in and actually benefit from, and make it work for themselves at their own tolerance. And that's the beauty of it. Like, you know, you don't have to be an aggressive day trader. You don't have to be an aggressive institutional investor. You could just be a regular investor for your own time horizon and do things at your own, you know, will, at your own terms, and still be profitable. So it's amazing to see that we're seeing this shift of people realizing, hey, this may not be as easy as it looks, but with proper education, with proper knowledge, I can do this too. And I can study. And again, you know, practice makes perfect. And at 1010, we do demo trading a lot. We talk big about it because we want you to practice. We want you to practice. It's fine to make mistakes with fake money, but it's going to hurt when it's real money. So it's an awesome way to get started. But this chart I really found hilarious, because I was like, wow, this chart would have looked like, if I can find an older one, I will definitely post it. But if there was an older one, I would want to see how much of a difference it would be, because 10 years ago, people would be like, stock market, not even touching it. You know, somebody had a bad experience, they would be like, I'm not even touching it. Anyway, the next chart, this is a little bit more, you know, technical, I guess. So what we're looking over here is volatility. So what I wanted to show was like how extended periods of time, you know, we have seen volatility rise. So I'm going to actually use my marker. I'm sorry, we're at a tote. And there we are. Perfect. So this is where we are recently. This is our 2020, 2021, the whole debacle from last March that we saw. You know, what I wanted to showcase here was every time this has happened in the past, it's not been a single event. There's always been several spikes following that nobody prepares for. And then there's a small downtime. And when we see, again, massive uproars, there's always like, you know, there's always follow-ups. It's not done in one move. So since we have seen this, another, that's a lot of circles. Since we have seen another, you know, large move here, by no means should we assume that we're entering a period of just, you know, standard stability. There will always be, you know, some more uncertainty, some more, you know, volatility in the market. That as an investor, is important to know this information, because you want to be prepared. You don't want to, like, you know, get emotional. You don't want to you don't want to start reacting with certain large moves in the market going against you, because that may just be the new normal. But we wouldn't know that if we are not doing our research, if we're not doing our homework and studying the market to see what that looks like. So these charts like here show us that, hey, this volatility is here to stay. These up and downs are here to stay for now, at least. We don't know how long, but for now, at least. So we should be expecting these and should not be afraid of them. We should understand and prepare ourselves to tackle them rather than, you know, run away from them. All right, this one I put in especially for my cryptocurrency lovers. I hope you guys are excited. I know we have somebody speaking at the 3-day event, but I know at our 1010 event, we will have someone talking about crypto as well. I'm by no means an expert in it, but I really wanted to bring someone who knew the industry well, who could really provide the value to all of you guys and answer all your questions about cryptocurrency with the right information, because that's what I wanted to give to you. But recently we saw that cryptocurrency finally surpassed $1 trillion in value. So, you know, this may not be just another fluke. There may be something big going on here. Again, I don't know, but hopefully the experts will be able to answer this for us. But again, you know, we need to also look at it as a reference point that the estimated total market cap of gold around this time when I took this chart was about $9 to $10 trillion. So Bitcoin is 1/10 of the market cap of gold. So that's saying something about it. You know, that we're seeing some large, and correct me, Stephen, if I'm wrong here, but I believe Mass Mutual as well did put some, you know, hedges on with investing in crypto. I remember Chris talking about it as well. So, you know, again, it's important, like I said, knowledge is power. It's important to know, it's important to do your research and do your homework. But once you know have the right tools to do it, you limit your homework from, like, you know, 30 hours to maybe just 2. Like if you didn't know what was on the test and you had to study everything and only one small section was on a test, you just wasted your time. That's what we try to do at 1010, try to make things simpler for you, so that this large world of, like, this wide variety of just information, everything can be condensed down to exactly what you would need. And then you can just practice that again and again and again, and then become better at it. So again, like, two charts like these help us understand that there may be something here, which definitely, learn more about it. And you don't have to trade it. It doesn't mean you have to trade or participate in everything, but understanding markets is important as well. Yes, Candace said that it is, again, like, if I wish I could answer all those questions, but hopefully we have an expert coming, so who will. So that's probably better to listen to. So this one, another fun one.
So real fast. Yeah, you're spot on. Mass Mutual did purchase, I think it was like 150 million in Bitcoin or something a few months back. So, people are definitely looking into it. I saw Elon Musk tweeting today that Tesla is now accepting Bitcoin, and actually so most times when you can pay with Bitcoin, it immediately gets converted to fiat currency. So US dollars, right? And there's usually a charge that occurs. Tesla announced today they're going to start accepting Bitcoin for car purchases, and they're keeping it in Bitcoin. So they're actually collecting Bitcoin. They're doing no conversion to fiat currency. So that's pretty big news, I believe, in the crypto space. It's very volatile, placement for wealth or investment or whatever you want to call it, right? But we are bringing Spencer on, though. He's a really smart young guy. He'll be on this weekend on the 3-day, and he's got some good stuff planned. So I'm looking forward myself to hearing what he's got to teach also. So thanks, man.
Oh no, thanks for sharing. I didn't know that. That's awesome. So there's a lot happening in this space, and we have about 85 participants here. I'm sure everyone has a certain specific interest for a certain specific asset class that attracts to them. So it's important to be aware of everything that's going on in the markets, how it's affecting, but it's also important to specialize in something. Finding that one thing that works for you and just getting good at it. And like Spencer's just really, really good with cryptocurrency. So that's awesome. So that would be the guy to answer all those questions. And like I said, it's important to be aware of what's happening in the overall market. You can't just say it's noise. You can't just ignore anything, especially when a company like Tesla and a guy like Elon is getting big in it. So, but it's something to be aware of. And then you can, now your homework goes down from 30 hours to maybe an hour, 2 hours. And then you can just kind of focus and see what comes out of it, what your stance is. So it's important to be able to do that. Otherwise, we'll just have so much information, so much noise that we'll never get through anything, because there's always more coming up our way. Another one, like I said, today was all charts. I just wanted to share like market data, everything that we've been seeing. So this one recently that I got was from February 17th. We were seeing, excuse me, wow, my voice was cracked. We were seeing record buying in penny stocks. And we were seeing lower quality stocks outperforming high quality stocks. The demand for lowest quality credit junk has never been higher in the history of the market. So we are not only just seeing money flowing in the market in cryptocurrencies, we are seeing money go into asset classes and products that people would not even touch before, but retail investors and all other kinds of investors are pouring into it now, just because there's so much opportunity for everyone to participate in the market. There's so many different products for everyone to enjoy or specialize or learn. So this was incredible. Like, this spike is not something that's normal. Like, even in 14, 17, we see some spikes, but this is an absolute amount of uproar that we've seen in what people call pump and dumps or penny stocks or whatever they may be, or lowest credit, junk credit. But it's crazy to see that we are in a market where everything is a buying opportunity, or everything looks like a buying opportunity. Everybody jumps into it, and all of a sudden it becomes. But again, it's awesome. It's amazing to notice this. I don't trade these myself, but again, you have to be aware of what's happening in the market. Another one that I wanted to share, this one, again, all these charts were so amazing to me that I really, really could not, let go of them. This one is a trading frenzy chart from Bloomberg. Excuse me. This one is basically showing the US equity volumes approach peak during what would be considered a recession or a downturn, or like the pandemic, the market of that pandemic. Like even in 2000 and 2008, I'm sorry, I'm just going to draw some circles over here. Like right over here, we saw some kind of a correlation between the volume and the options market. But now we are just seeing this absolute divergence, this absolute difference of volume in the market that's just never been seen before. So these are phenomena. These market charts are representing and showing us information that numbers that we probably haven't seen before. And that's why I think it's hard for a lot of people to make head and tails of it, because we've never seen it before. So we don't know how to respond to it. So that brings a lot of uncertainty. The best way to tackle uncertainty is to protect yourself, is to protect your capital. And how do you do that? Hedging. Again, I've always talked about it, and I've always tried to teach everyone how to do it, but we'll be diving a lot more deeper into that this session, this upcoming Sunday that I have planned. So, again, uncertainty is nerve-wracking for everyone, but we always want to be prepared. And these charts help us visualize the market, see it in numbers that we are in an unprecedented market, never seen before. This next one is also another awesome one I have here for you guys. This chart is showing the amount of risk people are willing to take. And we are seeing a record high amount of what's considered normal risk in this market. And this chart goes back to 2000. So you can see when we had the dot-com bubble, that was still at levels like 10, 15. Even before the recession, it was like a lot higher. But this is incredible to watch, because I'm sorry, I'm trying to find my circles again for you guys. That this period of, I'm sorry, there we go. This period of the recession, when we hit the low, we haven't seen it in 2020 when we did, but we are seeing highs we've never seen before. That's what, like going back to what I said a few minutes ago, we are seeing numbers, we are seeing data, we are seeing information that we can't make head and tails of, because these are numbers we've never seen in the market before. Again, does this mean by any time soon it's going to end? I don't know. I wish I did. That would be awesome, but I don't. But what I do know is uncertainty is the enemy for any good investor, for any good trader. If you're uncertain, you're going to make bad decisions. If you're uncertain, you're going to take unnecessary risks. But how do you put certainty in or how do you protect yourself? You need to know the right tools. You need to have the right tools to protect yourself and your wealth and your money, because uncertainty, and in times like this where we've never seen anything, if it goes either direction, you want to make the most of it. Either direction, higher or lower, it doesn't matter. You want to protect yourself and be able to make returns on this. Somebody asked, can we have some access with these surveys? So again, you can always Google these. A lot of this is public out there, so you can always Google this. A lot of these banks and all, they post your reports, so you can definitely look them up there. But Bloomberg One, again, you have to have the Bloomberg subscription to get those. But a lot of these charts, you'll find them on the internet all around. Like if you are interested in looking up these informations, if you just Google, unprecedented stock market charts 2020, you will see some information and some numbers that absolutely do not make sense. And it's great to watch, because you become aware of what the market is doing, what kind of a phase we are in the market. Okay, so again, that, and this kind of, and again, all this data helps us see that it ties in. If people are taking higher than normal risk, we saw in our previous slide over here that we were seeing a demand for low quality products, or what's considered junk credit, things like that. So we know people are willing to take a lot more risk. There is volume. So there is a lot of things that show us that this is an unprecedented market, and people are really, really excited to be in it. And probably they're not done in the market, because there's so many people that are still waiting for their stimulus checks and whatnot to participate in the market still. So again, so one of the last charts that I wanted to show, and I really, this one took a while to put together, but so what we are seeing over here is from, I believe, 1910 or 1915, all the way out to 2021. This is the stock market. Now, there's something very interesting about this chart, and that is that I got this chart to be inflation adjusted, and it's on a log scale. So you can see the magnitude of each drop. That should probably be red. That would look better red. So we can, this was the Great Depression, and and everything that's in this shaded region are officially by economists and the Department of Labor considered recessions. So somewhere over here, this is our the Great Recession of the recession 2008, 2009, the dot-com bubbles and things like that. So I really wanted to showcase this chart because no matter what the market does, no matter how far the market drops, no matter what it takes, in the long run, the market has continued to come back stronger. So again, let me actually just stop that before it goes higher, because I'm not trying to say the market's going to go higher or lower or anything. But what I wanted to showcase was that in the long run, the markets have always outperformed. They've always touched new highs. They've always come back from whatever they've struggled with. And it's important to know these charts because a lot of investors ask this question. A lot of people ask this question when trading or investing, especially getting started. What if I buy now and tomorrow the market crashes? I'm like, there's really no true answer to that, because unfortunately, you may buy tomorrow and the market may crash the day after. I mean, I wish there was a way where you knew if you buy this day, the market's going to crash the next, but we don't. So if you spend all your time being worried, being concerned that the market's going to crash or the market's going to go up or I'm going to miss out, and you spend all this time on the sidelines, not participating or not at least getting the knowledge and information, you're not only going to miss out, either move up or down, doesn't matter. You will miss out an opportunity to actually build up a skill that you can use, a tool that when you see the time fit, it helps, alleviate that anxiety, the confusion, the idea of like, should I not? So if for anybody who would question like, oh, what if I buy tomorrow? I haven't started yet and the market crashes. Well, a very simple answer: protections, hedges, protecting your portfolio. If you were to buy tomorrow and you protect your portfolio, at some point the portfolio will turn around and your protection, your hedges will pay off. And I know I keep talking about hedges a lot, but you really need to understand that hedging is something that's not really talked about, that's not really taught. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know about it because it's a little tricky, but it is so, so crucial. I always tell people, I'm like, people buy cars, houses, but would you ever own one of those things without insurance? No, probably not. It would not be a good idea. I wouldn't recommend. But when people have their retirement accounts, their entire life's saving, that they're like, oh, when I'm 60, I will use it, or whenever it may be. Somehow they're okay with that being uninsured. They're okay with that being not protected. They're okay with being unaware of what's happening around them because they were told by somebody or they heard somewhere that the markets are too complex, they're too complicated, stay away from it, stay out from it, it's not for you. Or you tried investing and didn't work out, so you never touched it again. That's all hogwash. That's all, up in the air. It's important to understand that I'm not saying everybody understands, how cars work. I'm not, but at least you have some insurance protection on your car if something, God forbid, happens to it. How many people can say the same thing about their retirement accounts? How many people can say the same thing about, the money they've put away for their families? If we talk about just simply inflation and standard inflation at 2%, if every year money is not outperforming 2%, which is, and correct me, Stephen, again, or Hannah, anybody, if I'm wrong, if they're, except for the infinite banking policy, I don't think there's any other savings account or any other thing out there where you just put your money and it will grow more than 2% a year.
Right. No, I mean, absolutely. And that's the beauty of the privatized banking is we do have that guarantee right now and simultaneously be able to take that money and grow the wealth through your strategies and through the other stuff we teach. But yeah, I mean, even high, I mean, I heard of like a higher yield savings account recently that was like right around 2.2%, which was unheard of. And it was like this long-term deal they had with this bank that they were working with. But even like Amex, like American Express high yield right now are like 0.02 or something. I mean, it's just
Wow.
we're at a zero to negative interest rate environment right now. So it's non-existent. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, no, again, and that's he made a great point that not only are savings accounts, just think about it. If you just put your money, you don't want to do anything, and you just leave your money in a savings account and you're earning, let's assume 0.5%. And inflation is 2%. You're technically losing still 1.5% every year that your money sits there. And if we're talking about retirement, that's 10, 20, maybe 5 years for some people, whatever that number is. That's multiplied growth of, this inflation that people negate, forget about. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and become an investor, put your money in the stock market. No, by no means. There's lots of tools. And that's why this 3-day event is so crucial. Some of you may be like, I understand the stock, I understand what I'm showing here, the charts and the opportunities and whatnot, but maybe stocks is not for you. That's okay. That's okay. We don't, 1010 is one part of the money school that taught investing and educates people and empowers them to take control of their money. The 3-day event is your opportunity to find other answers, to find these opportunities, to find if the stock market is still not for you, where else can I go? Where else can I do? These events are there to connect you to, and I remember, I think Shauna said that you're more powerful than you think you are. So somebody told you you can't trade or you're not an investor, or hey, no, just put your money in a savings account and a retirement account, forget it. Ask them questions. Question that belief. Question that practice. There's a reason why the money school has put together these events, and people who have attended them in the past have realized that, wow, this is an eye-opening event because it busts those myths that you've heard before that it's not for you. It's easy to say it's not for you. So you go away and you give control of your money to anybody else except yourself. But the 3-day event is your opportunity to not only learn more about hedging and 1010, all that, but I don't even know how many more speakers with how many more different opportunities for you guys. Cryptocurrency, we've already talked about one. IBC, I know they're going to talk about. There's real estate. There's other assets. There's so much there. And if you always feel like there's nothing out there for you, trust me, you will find something. For anybody who always asks, and I get this question a lot, but I can't do this, or it's not for me. I'm like, how do you know? Well, I tried 10 years ago. Well, you're not the same person you were 10 years ago. Even if you think you are, there's everything different about you. The world is not the same place it was a year ago, 6 months ago. So to say that there is no opportunity for you to take control of your money is very simply you lying to yourself. But with this event, you take that opportunity, you take that stand to you. Like, I've been told this so many times, but it's not true. And I see everybody making money, everybody else finding a way, everybody else doing something. How come I can't find it? Well, here's your opportunity for that. And Steven said something, and I know we're going to talk about it in our bonus session as well. And we did a case study on YouTube as well. You can check it out on Chris's account. How I use my infinite banking policy. I have one, how I use mine as an actual fund for my trading account. I use my banking policy where, like Steven said, I'm earning more than my savings account. How I use that to use my 1010 strategies to trade, and then use that back in my banking policy to keep the cycle growing. So not only am I guaranteed that 2% there, correct me if the number was off, but I am earning at least, I'm targeting, let's say on a conservative rate, 2 to 5% every month in my trading account. So not only am I growing my money twice, I am taking a lot less risk by, putting it in a loop, in a circle. You can check out the case study I did with Chris on YouTube, and we'll talk about this more on bonus session and on the weekend. But I would have never had that opportunity if I never knew about the banking policy. So if you think you know something, you'll learn more. If you think there is no way out, you'll find one. And if you think you're not ready, trust me, if you don't take the first step, you'll never be ready. I love this quote of Lao Tzu that goes, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. You can stand at that line, think about how long it's going to be, how hard it's going to be, and demotivate yourself and never take that first step. And you may come back like in 5 years and be like, man, I wish I'd done that 5 years ago. Most real estate investors, and I think Stephen, you'll agree with me, and I know I'm a little bit younger, but every real estate investor that I've talked to in their 30s and 40s have always told me, they're like, man, I wish I'd started early. Man, I wish I'd done this early because it's not that hard. Like, I just had to work a little. And he's like, I could have worked harder back then. They all say the same thing to me, always. So you have to take the very first step. It's the hardest step. But you have an opportunity here at one event to not only take one step, but to see endless possibilities. I really want someone to try and tell like what others think, and what other speakers we have coming that there's so much opportunity there. And I know trading, IBC policy, to me, that was mind blowing, but there's so much more. So if somebody wants to mention like, what other professionals we have coming speaking. So for anybody watching who hasn't signed up, is on the fence, is kind of debating, you have to know that there's so many possibilities that after the 3-day event, I think most people kind of have to be like, wow, which one do I choose? And that's one of the feedbacks that I've gotten. Like, they're like, wow, we want to do stock trading, but I also want to do real estate. So I'm like, okay, just take a minute. You have the opportunity to pick and choose and take your time with everything now. But you've taken the first step to move forward with it. So I think I have some questions. How can you hedge in an employee-sponsored retirement account? So again, I think a 401k is what that would be, or like a IRA. A little bit more technical question, but it depends on what kind of accounts they are. Usually in those cases, we have most people hedge in a separate account. If it doesn't allow for it, you would basically have your regular brokerage account or like regular IRA, where you would basically hedge. So hopefully that answers this, but it's a little bit more technical question. But the easiest way to bypass that is have a separate account. Sorry, go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Just open a a non-qualified account, and you can make some trades in there just in case the qualified account take some hits. You have some things that are going to counteract that happening. And on top of that, another strategy would be to look at taking a loan from that employer sponsored account. So you could typically borrow 50% or up to $50,000 from, let's say, a 401k or a 457B, if that's the type that you're talking about, if it's qualified money. And by taking that loan, you're going to pay, let's just say 5% interest on that loan from the 401k, but all that interest you pay back to yourself, back into your employer sponsored retirement account. So that allows you to pull at least 50,000 of that out, that you now have control of that money. So that's out of the stock market. So if you think things are going to come down, you can pull it out, because the other option would be to move it all into cash, which not all 401ks allow even. You can get very conservative where you're barely making anything. But if they do allow it, you can move it into cash, but then it goes back to what Sodi was saying before, where you're still losing because of inflation and everything else. So, being able to pull it out and take that loan, you're paying yourself back the interest. So no harm, no foul there. And then you can control the money. And then we could take that and we could stick it into an IBC policy, then pull it back out to do some private lending with it. We could just take it and we could just, start buying real estate with that, or do some different private funds with it, or, any of the strategies we're going to teach you this weekend during the 3 days. So, those are a couple little strategies right there that you can consider.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I was going to mention, I'm like, I'm working on my second policy just because I realized I could use my policy as a savings account. And that's the beauty about 1010, about Money School, and about everyone here, that there are so many new creative ways that you can use your policy that people may not have thought of, that you may come up with. We did real estate. There's a case study on real estate. I did with stock investing and things like that. savings account. There's plenty of ways to do things like this. It's just you have to be wanting to take the first step to enlighten yourself of the possibilities and see what works for you. I love what Hannah put, like how Brent says, the wealth train is going to keep moving down the tracks, whether you're at the station or not. And that's true. So, you know, at every juncture in that point, every year, like you get an opportunity. You don't have to let the train go by because you know there's something there for you. There always will be. Shauna is posting some of the guests that we have coming, so I'm just really going to go over that. Bo Winder with Seed Capital, he's joining us.
We can go through it, Sody. Do you have any more charts or anything on the slides? Or are you done with the?
Oh no, yeah, I am. I'll definitely let you guys take over that. I just want to answer one question. Candace asked, "What made me get into trading so young? Did I fall into it or already exposed?" I actually sought out a way to make some money. I think I was 13 or 14, and I was very curious. And back then, blogging was a very popular method. People were blogging, you know, they were making money in advertisements and everything. And I just didn't like. I love writing, but I wasn't really a fan of it then. But I just found some ways, and I found some trading possibilities. Studied, you know, you have your ups and downs, but that's why I said. And we'll talk more about this throughout on Sunday when I introduce the mentorship and schedules for all that stuff. How just having some people in my life who guided me through it, helped me narrow down, you know, my trading journey from like 5-7 years down to like 6 months of practice, concise period where I was able to practice and become better. And I've been trading for about 10 years now. So, but yeah, hopefully that answered that. I know these guys will take over this and they will answer if there's any other questions on the markets, feel free. I'll put my email over there. And I will also put the link. So let me do that. I will put my email first. So if anyone has any questions about mentorship or anything of that sort, again, I'll cover all of that on 3-day event. I really, really hope to see everyone over there. I have something very, very awesome planned for you guys, especially if you're interested in hedging and, you know, protecting your investments and things like that. I have something really, really awesome over there for everyone. So hopefully you guys can be there to check that out. And I will also put the link for the giveaway. So anybody who is signed up already for the 3-day or is going to sign up now, feel free to post your name and email in the giveaway. I will run the raffle on the weekend when the registration is closed. Sunday, I will announce. Again, the prizes are, we have 3 free 1-month trading subscription to our trading list, a $95 value standard. And we have 1 one-on-one coaching available with me for some lucky winner. So if you guys are interested, I definitely recommend. Let me go ahead and post that link before I forget. And then feel free to post that there. If any questions, email me. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And if not, Stephen, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, you can take your.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, you could take your time. I mean, if anybody else has any other market questions,
yeah, please.
Investing, anything like that. I was just going to close the share screen because people can see you a lot better.
Oh, sorry.
Like the chart up. So that's all.
I'm sorry about that.
Feel free to check it in. And then the other thing I'll say is, you know, we're going to do, we'll be having are you hopping on for the Ask Me Anything today, Sody? As well?
I will not be here for that. I will be at the market close. I will be at the market
so
close.
Now's your chance to get your questions answered by Sody. And then for the rest of you, any other questions, we will be doing the Ask Me Anything with the team. It should be Gabby, myself, and Hannah at 4:30 Eastern today. 4:30 Eastern. So I'll post that in the chat also if you need to register for that still. So, you know, we do these Wealth Wednesday webinars every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Typically, Chris is on and has a special guest, somebody from our network, and we do the Ask Me Anything with our a large part of our team every Wednesday at 4:30 Eastern. So that's something you can count on every single Wednesday, no matter what. Even when Chris is out in Vegas or traveling, we're still able to get on here and do some training. So it's pretty good stuff. All right. So you got to get back to trading, you said? Are you hanging out?
Yep. I'll be here. I'll be here for another half an hour. We're about to hit off the lunch power hour, so I got to head back there. But again, my email is there. The giveaway link is there. Feel free if any questions. But yeah, if not, I will see you guys Sunday. Actually, I will see you guys Friday for the bonus session. We still have that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't know are you doing Friday or Saturday? Do you know?
No, I think I'm on the bonus session Friday, and then I'm on my actual session Sunday. So
Down to
I'll
see
be there
Friday.
Friday and Sunday.
All right. So we are doing, so for the 3 day, those of you, we ended up, so last time we did a bonus session, and what the bonus session is we turn the recording off, and it's basically allows Chris and Sodi and anyone else to kind of give some opinions and some advice that otherwise, maybe something we don't want recorded, right? So it allows us to, I guess, talk a little more freely about, what we think is going to happen with the markets, and, from all of our research and education on our side. So we have some fun with it, but because it's not recording, you do have to be there live for it. So we did this last 3 day, and a bunch of people were emailing us like, come on, man, I couldn't make it on Friday. I was busy with work or getting out. I'm going to watch the recording tonight, but I wanted to see the bonus. So what we did is we actually are going to do 2 bonuses this time. So we're going to do on Friday, and we'll also do on Saturday at the end of the day. So you got to at least make one of those 2. All right. So hop on there. But yeah, see, we had a couple people that missed it. So actually somebody told me they were signing up for the 3 day this weekend just to see the bonus session. So that was interesting. Obviously we have a lot more good stuff on there as well. But all right. So with that said, what I want to do is just get into a little bit more about the 3 day, and get into a little bit of training on, a little bit more about what Money School is, and what it's going to do for you. So let me share my screen here for just a second. All right. So you can see my PowerPoint. It says the Money School, right?
Perfect.
All right, cool. So, just to, if you've been with us for a little while, you've probably heard the story, but, Money School, Chris developed Money School a few years back. And originally it was Flip Out Academy. They were doing a lot of real estate, over 260 flips, after he left becoming a financial planner. And if you've ever heard Chris's story, it's really interesting. I mean, he's had a lot of ups, and he's hit some hard times, and just, it's an incredible story. So if you ever have an opportunity to listen to it, he was telling it in a little more depth last night on our Clubhouse. So, definitely hear it, because it's a really interesting story. And a lot of times, I've been doing this now for a long time. I've met a lot of very successful people over the years, have a lot of very successful business partners and affiliates. And you hear the same story a lot. People have had a lot of success, but they've also run into a lot of roadblocks and a lot of challenges, that come along with that success. And the one thing they all have in common is they never take no for an answer, and they believe in something. They believe that they can do more. They believe they can have more. They believe that they can create abundance for themselves by focusing and basically just grinding. All right. Whatever it takes to get something done. Now, with that said, when it comes to business and real estate, we are very big believers in doing things legally and ethically at all times. All right. So you'll never hear us teach anything that, is considered shady in the industry. We'll never teach you strategies, whether it's in real estate, stocks, business, whatever the case is. We'll never teach anything that we wouldn't ourselves do, or ourselves are doing on a daily basis. And the only way to have longevity in this business, in any business really, but especially in real estate, is by doing things the right way and treating people the right way. So a lot of times we'll talk about, hey, right now in the market, I'll give a great example. So right now in real estate, because of COVID and because of everything that's happened, there's a lot of mortgages that are in forbearance right now. And a lot of the experts are saying there's going to be a lot of foreclosures that hit the market over the next couple years. And we can look back, not even that long ago, 12 years ago, to '08, when we had our last foreclosure, real estate housing bust, where all the foreclosures exploded and went everywhere. Well, when these foreclosures occur, it's actually it's an exciting time, but at the same time, it's sad, because what happens with the foreclosure, right? People lose their homes. So somebody that's worked very hard to purchase a home, and a lot of times a home has a lot of emotional value. Maybe your kids were born there, or maybe you got married there, or, just living there over the years. You have so many memories that come along with that. So when all of a sudden you're in hard financial times and something like a foreclosure occurs, you're already down on your luck, because you already can't pay your bills, which is causing the foreclosure in the first place. And then the bank comes in and, says, hey, you're not paying us, so we're going to take this property away from you. You can no longer live here. You need to move out, right? So it creates a sad situation a lot of times. And something that when I was first learning real estate back in '05 through '08, leading up into the foreclosure, collapse in '08 and the housing market crisis in '08, and it's something that I was able to do in the subsequent years following that by being able to purchase foreclosures was, what we always look for was ways to help those people. All right. So there's a lot of strategies where they create win-win situations. So a lot of what we teach when it comes to money school and it comes to especially the real estate portion is creating these win-win situations. So if you can help enough people in your life, you will ultimately have success yourself as well. So like, I'll give you one other example. Last night we were on the clubhouse with Leo, who's one of our money school students. He's been around the campfire, as we like to say, since I've known Chris. He's been around. Leo's been around, and Leo's one of those guys that's had a lot of success, and he could care less about the money. He does everything he does just because he wants to share the message and he wants to help as many people. He'll go out there and he'll find somebody in Houston to partner with or work with on a real estate deal, and he won't charge them anything. He was telling me this yesterday. He doesn't charge them a dime. He'll give them all the education. He'll help them out. He'll get them success. And he just says, listen, if they're happy and they do well, I know that they're going to take care of me later on. They'll pay me or they'll make me part of the deal or give me some of the profit. He goes, so I don't even care. Like, I just want to help as many people. And that's why we love people like Leo. And, I have a bunch of stories like that when it comes to students over the years and partners and people that are, money school students right now today that I talk to on a regular basis. So that's what it's all about. And when I met Chris, he had that exact same, attitude with everything. And, down at the bottom here, this is a quote that I saw in one of Chris's original presentations. You can see that this slide right here looks nothing like all of the presentations and everything we have now. I mean, to me, Chris looks like a baby in that picture. I don't know when that was taken, but this was from a while back. But it is never about your actual resources. It's about how resourceful you can be. And that's so very true because, again, it doesn't matter if you're in a tough financial position right now, you're buried in debt, or you've done well and you're just scared. You don't know what you're going to do with your money. It doesn't matter because if you're willing to become resourceful, learn something new and learn these strategies, you're going to be able to go out there and apply it. So that's what I want to get into right now is some of those strategies and things you can be doing right now to start preparing for the 3-day and start preparing for everything that we have coming, over the next, couple few years, because nobody can predict when it's going to happen, but everybody agrees that something will happen. And the scale of that, we'll see what happens. So be prepared and be ready. So when it comes to money school, it all starts with what we call the 3 pillars of education. So real estate, again, one of the reasons we love real estate is because there's so many different strategies that we can follow when it comes to real estate. So let me just show you this here. These are all different ways that we currently are investing in real estate. So a lot of times when you hear real estate, you think, all right, well, I got to go out there and I got to buy these, torn down homes that are falling apart all around me. And, the walls are falling through and there's termites covering the place. And, there's fleas and ticks coming up off the ground and, the walls are coming down. So that's not what it is at all. All right. It can be, absolutely. And if you're in the flipping business, and that's all you do, then those are the kind of properties you target. But there's so many other aspects of real estate, all right? Or maybe you think, hey, to get into real estate, I got to own rental properties, right? I got to deal with tenants. I got to have people calling me at midnight because of a broken toilet. And I just want nothing to do with that. Now, while that can be true, there's also ways to do rentals where that has you never even talk to the tenants and you're completely hands off and don't deal with any of that. So what we do is we teach these different strategies, all right? So absolutely, single family homes are an excellent source for making money right now. Okay. So one of the best ways, if you're in a position where financially you don't have a lot of money put aside, or you don't have a lot of retirement right now, or you're just barely struggling to pay the bills. All right. Wholesaling real estate is something that I would highly consider you start focusing on right now. All right. And the reason I say focus on that is because during the 3-day training, we're going to teach you so many different subjects and topics that your head is going to be spinning. I can guarantee you it happens every time. After the class, I call on the phone every single student that wants to talk to me and that wants to create their plan of action for implementing and starting to take action on everything they learn. I'll personally call every single person that wants to talk and create that plan of action. So when I make these calls following these classes, I always hear, man, I learned so much. I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the recordings multiple times. That's fine. Definitely do that. Education will never hurt you. But I also want you during the 3 days to write down, take good notes, and write down each topic and start putting stars next to them. Okay. So if it's something that you really, really like and you can see yourself doing and makes sense for your situation, put 5 stars on that thing. If it's a strategy that you're like, hey, that sounds awesome, I'm just not in a position to do that right now, either because of time or because of money, then maybe put 1 star or 2 stars on there. And that'll remind you later on, hey, this is something I liked. I just don't want to focus on it right now. So what we want you to do during this 3-day training is to pick 1 or 2 topics or strategies that you can focus on and start implementing immediately on Monday following the training. Okay. 1 or 2 strategies. All right. So as we go here, I want you to start thinking about that. All right. So single family homes and wholesaling and flipping, right? And rentals. That's what you typically think of with single family. Well, wholesaling is awesome because if you don't have a lot of money right now, you can get started in wholesaling without a lot of money. All right. And what wholesaling is you're going to go out there and you're going to find properties, motivated sellers. So whether that's somebody going through a divorce or whether that's somebody that has to sell for whatever reason, they're moving, they'll have a job transfer. They just got to get that house sold quickly. Or maybe, somebody passed away and the house goes through probate, or maybe they're in financial trouble and it's going into foreclosure. So like something like a short sale pre-foreclosure type deal. There's a lot of different reasons why people have to sell. So you're going to start targeting motivated sellers. And we can show you exactly how to do that. So you're going to target, you're going to negotiate, and you're going to put that property under contract. Okay. Now, once that property is under contract, before you close on that property, before you do any work on that deal, before you give them any money except for a small escrow down payment on it sometimes, before you do anything with it, you're simply going to take that contract, take that paperwork, and you're going to sell it. Sell that paper to an investor that wants that house. Okay. So who would want that house and why would they do that? Right. So when I sell that paper or sell that contract, I'm going to add my assignment fee to that deal. So my assignment fee is typically going to range anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 to $20,000, depending on the deal. Now, it could be $2,500 if there's a small margin on the deal. It could be $100,000 on a larger multifamily project. The assignment fees are relevant. The bottom line is you're charging someone else because you went out there, you found that deal, you negotiated, you put it under contract, you're going to charge something. Now, why would somebody pay you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for that, where that's eating into their profit margins when they could just go out there and buy it directly from the homeowner? Well, that's why right there. People that are good at something, so somebody that's good at flipping, somebody that is buying rental properties, a lot of times they don't have the time or the desire to do that part of the work. All right. So they don't want to go out there and they don't want to negotiate and market and find these motivated sellers and put these in and find these deals. They just want to buy the property. They want to send their crew in there to do the work on the flip, and they want to get that thing turned over as quickly as possible, because in flipping life, time is money. So you want to get these done as quickly as possible. So if they can go in and they can look at a deal and say, all right, I can pay this wholesaler $5,000 or $10,000 to get this property, I'm still going to make a 22% margin. I'm still going to make $60,000 on this flip. Of course it's worth it to me, because it's not worth making 65,000 as opposed to 60,000 for me to go out there and spend all my time, money, and resources on that part of it when I can just buy it from the wholesaler and get doing what I'm good at doing. For instance, the last several rental properties that we've purchased, actually probably the last 7 or 8 now, have come directly from wholesalers. So they call me, they send us an email and say, hey, we got a deal we're getting ready to put. Do you want it? And now that I've done multiple deals with them, a lot of times they'll give me first dibs on that before they launch it out to the rest of their sellers list. Okay. Or the rest of their buyers list, excuse me. So I can buy it directly because I'm busy doing 100 other things. I don't have time right now to go out there and find these deals. Do I want good deals? Absolutely. So I work with a lot of wholesalers. All right. And there's a bunch of other reasons why you would do that. But that's a great way for somebody looking at getting in the business that doesn't have a lot of their own money right now. Now, can you get into flipping without your own money? Absolutely. We'll teach you those strategies using private money lenders, using gap lenders, using things like syndicated capital partners, which is Chris's lending company that those of you that are coming to the 3-day will now have priority access to as well, syndicated capital partners. So if you're looking for money for deals, we'll immediately be able to get you access to that. And we'll teach you things like the credibility builder, which are in File Vault, which you also get included with the 3-day class, how you can start putting that together. So when you present to private money lenders, you present to hard money lenders, you give them everything they need on a silver platter so they can quickly evaluate who are you, who is this deal? Do I want to lend you the money or not? All right. So single family homes are a great way to get started. Now, single family is also good if you're what's called a passive investor. All right. So let's say that you're out there and you're like me, where you want to invest in real estate. You want to take advantage of the market. You want to create passive money coming in, whether it's through private money lending, whether it's through rental properties, whether it's through private funds. You have that income coming in. You're just lending your money out and having somebody else pay you interest on a regular basis, or you're buying rentals and have that rental income coming in on a regular basis. But you don't want to have the time to go out there and actually find the deals, or you don't want to go out there and do the flips yourself. You just would rather lend somebody else the money and you take advantage of that deal. So that's, so single family is great for that kind of thing. Then you could get into multifamily. So things like, so duplexes and quadplexes are still considered residential real estate. When you get to anything 5 units and above, it's considered commercial real estate. So it's handled a little bit differently, but there's a lot of value right now in affordable housing. So mobile home parks are one example, but another example are apartment complexes. So you can go, when I say apartment complexes, I'm talking about typically 75, 100, 150, 200 units. So 200 doors on 1 or 2 buildings within one complex, right? So apartment complexes. And just to give you an idea, if you're of the mindset that real estate's very high right now, and there's probably going to be a correction where prices will probably come down, then multifamily might be a really good spot for you to look. Because while the real estate market is a lot different than the bubble that happened in '08. It's just different, right? There was a lot more predatory lending going on then. There's a lot more of these, no money down loans and no doc loans. And, people were buying 8, 10, 12 houses that probably had no business buying one house. They were just getting everything funded through the banks, and lenders weren't looking at anything. And that really helped lead to the financial collapse that we had in '08. This market's a little bit different, but this market's very high. So a lot of people think that there will be a correction. So if you're of that mindset, well, let's look at history. What can we do? All right. So if you have a rental portfolio, right now might be a good time to evaluate that portfolio. Which homes right now are not performing quite as well? Which homes did I buy several years ago that have now gone up in value that I can sell, make a nice profit on? The equity, the equity is what you bought it for and what it's now worth. That's all equity. Your asset has grown. So that's money you can cash out. What is that property bringing in rents right now? And if that rent is maybe a little bit lower than what you could go out and buy another property for the same price and charge a higher rent, that might be a good property to look at getting rid of out of your portfolio right now. I talked to Chris over the weekend, and he has I believe he said he just sold one from his rental portfolio last week, and they just listed 2 new ones over the weekend. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's going in, evaluating, finding out the least performing ones, and he's dumping them right now while we're at all-time highs. So that might be something to look into. Or, multifamily. So if you look back to '08, in 2008, when the housing collapse happened, the housing crisis occurred, multifamily properties actually never lost much value. I believe it was like on average around the country, like 1 or 2%. So first off, they held their value. And second off, the rents did not come down very much in multifamily. And why is that? Well, demand. Like anything that drives a market, demand. So what happens if everybody owns a home and all of a sudden everybody loses those homes? Well, they have to live somewhere, right? So they go and they look for what can they afford now. And if they just lost their home in a foreclosure, odds are they can't buy another home now, even if it's a much less priced home, odds are their credit is shot, and who's going to lend to them if they just foreclosed on a home and didn't make their last payments. So they're going to take a little time to be able to qualify for a loan again. So, but they still need somewhere to live. So a lot of times they'll go and they'll look for more affordable housing. And a lot of times that's going to be multifamily apartment complexes. So they hold their value very well, especially in economic downturns, which a lot of people are saying are coming up in the next couple of years. So maybe that's something you look at. And, we'll introduce you. Those of you that are attending the 3-day training this weekend, we'll introduce you to some of our team of investors that manage these types of properties that, maybe if you qualify, you can invest with them. Where they are going to take your money, they're going to go out and apply it, or you're going to go on to MSTV. You get a free 30-day membership. So go on there and watch the videos by Jack Petrick. Jack Petrick is on there teaching you how you can start investing in multifamily apartments and how you can go in and start managing them and either be an owner operator, put the deals together, or just invest with another owner operator that's already doing it. So things like kind of similar like syndication deals, if you've heard of those. Chris Root will be on there talking about how you can start getting into affordable housing this weekend. I believe Chris Root is on Saturday. So he'll be on there. He's also in MSTV talking about it. And if anybody was on if anybody's in MSTV Premier or is an MST founding member, you also receive the 2-hour coaching calls once a month that Chris, myself, and a couple people from our network do once a month with you for 2 hours. So if you were on the last one last weekend, you were able to meet Jack Petrick and Irving Moya, who are out there doing this right now. So we taught you all about on that 2-hour coaching, how to start getting into these multifamily projects and how you can, things to look for when you're managing and operating these. So these are all resources that we've already gone through. And if you're a student with us, this is the kind of thing you receive on a regular basis above and beyond the 3-day workshop. And then those of you that want to start investing, we'll introduce you to our private money club, which is just launching right now, which is just an awesome place. And this is, going back to when I first met Chris, one thing I'll add, what really amazed me about Chris was a vision that he had. And this was a vision, and the way he explained it to me at the time was like eHarmony. Okay. So if any of you have ever done like the online dating thing, there's an app called eHarmony where you can go on there and you can put in all the details about who you are and put your pictures on there and basically highlight, hey, this is who I am. Is there anybody out there looking for somebody like me? And then, you can get on there and you can search for other people. And if you like the way they look or the way that they sound in their profile, you can match up with them, right? And you guys can, start talking and, maybe go out on a date and, maybe have an engagement and get married and have kids and start a family, but you develop a relationship, right? So this was Chris's vision, was to create the eHarmony except for money. Because remember, Chris is America's #1 money mentor. So how can we create this relationship, but through money? Okay. And I'm not talking about, like the apps where you can, I don't know what they are, like gold diggers or whatever, where people are looking for someone rich to take care of them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about matching you up with money with other people that either need or have money. So what I mean by this, let me make this clear, is this is what the private money club is. So if you take a quarter, I don't know if I have a coin anywhere. Here we go. So if you take a coin, here's a dime, right? So if you take this dime right here, you have the head side, you have the tail side, and then you have the third side, which everybody forgets about, which is the outside edge, right? So what happens here is the heads are going to be people, and this is what I was going back to what I was just talking about. So heads are going to be people that have money, all right? So whether that's in employer-sponsored retirement account, whether that's in an old 401k that you're transferring over to a self-directed retirement account, whether that's an IRA right now or money sitting around that you want to get out of the stock market or get it out of a savings account where it's just not earning anything. You have some money though, and it's either just sitting there or you need to find a way to put it to work. You just don't maybe have the time or the desire to go out there and actively do something like real estate. But you want to do it, right? You want to put that money to work. So we also now have the tail side of the coin. These are people that don't have the money, but they have the desire and they have the urgency and they have the need to go out there and hustle, meaning they're willing to go out there and market, to negotiate, to buy the home, to get the flip done, to do the work it takes to get these deals done. So what we're going to do is we're going to match up on this edge, this outside edge where the magic happens. That person with the money with the person that needs the money, we're going to introduce you to each other. And everybody in our private money club has been educated. To join our private money club, you have to qualify. So you have to go through the 3-day money school essentials training. You have to go through our 4-week master course, and you have to go through our perfect loan proposal training. The perfect loan proposal is what is going to show exactly all the details on every single deal. So whether you're presenting it or whether you're evaluating it to lend your money, everything is there for you to make an educated decision. So we're simply going to put you all together. And then what we've done is we've taken it one step further, and we've invited in people in our network that we are currently investing with ourselves. So people like Chris Rude, we're lending our money to. People like Jack Petrick, we're lending our money to, and others. We are now also bringing them into the private money club. So if you're looking for passive investments, truly passive investments, they are going to highlight their current deals on there, because when they have a deal, somebody like Chris Rude, for example, the last deal that Chris Rude had, it was filled up within 2 days, and the money was returned within, I think it was within like a month. Okay. And that's the biggest challenge sometimes with lending your money out, being a private money lender or investing in these private deals. Money gets returned quickly, and you want to keep your money in movement, keep your money moving. So it's constantly growing for you. So you always need that next deal. So now you're going to see exactly in the private money club, what is that next deal, so you can redeploy that money immediately. You don't have to spend time searching for it. It's all right there for you. So right now, Chris Root's putting a few new deals inside there for us. Jack Petrick is loading his new stuff in there. And I have a couple other guys that I'm working with that we're getting their projects and their deals in there for you as well. So that's all what Money School is going to provide and teach you. So, when it comes to creating wealth multiple ways, going back to the slide here, that's why I love real estate, because there's so many different aspects and areas, but it doesn't just stop with real estate. We do talk about stocks, as you saw with Sodi just now. We're going to talk about becoming the bank. We're going to talk about things like infinite banking and privatized banking. Okay. So there's just so many different strategies. Notes investing is buying mortgages. So existing mortgages that are already out there, that are vetted, that are banked, we'll teach you exactly how to go out there, find those, purchase those, make passive money, but also build equity where you can sell those. We're going to teach you, it's just so many different strategies. So, that's exactly what the 3-day does for you. So going back to here, we do, so that's why real estate is one of the pillars of education, just because every successful millionaire, multimillionaire, and above that I've ever met and hung out with in my life, they all own real estate in one shape, fortune, fashion. It's all there one way or another. Okay. So it's important to understand it. When it comes to money, Chris spends all day Friday almost just teaching you about money. So how money works, how money moves, how to use banks. There's a lot of different types of banks out there. I mean, there's your traditional banks, there's community banks, there's commercial banks, there's credit unions, there's private banks. So we teach you how to use different banks in different situations, because not all deals are done the same way. And it doesn't always make sense to go to a private money lender when you can use a traditional bank or a private bank to do the same thing. So there's pros and cons to using banks. So you just need to understand when and why and how to use them the right way. So almost all day Friday is just Chris and me teaching you all about banks and how they work and when and how to use them. So very, very important right there. And then of course we start getting into money multiplier and how to grow your money and keep that money moving at all times. And then we move into legacy. So the third pillar of education is legacy. And legacy is more than just creating for the future, because there's so many ways to build wealth. So what happens a lot of times is somebody will spend, years and years and years building wealth. And do we live in a litigious society where people sue people every single day? Absolutely. And what'll happen is I've seen it personally happen to people I know, where they start acquiring properties or they start developing wealth, and then somebody trips and falls or something happens, or one guy I knew got in a car accident. It wasn't even his fault, but they still went after him. And the first thing that they do whenever that person that's suing you hires an attorney, the first thing that attorney does is they hop on public records. So they hop on the state that you live in, and they start searching for your name. They start searching courthouses and public databases. All right, what does this guy own? Oh, wow. This guy owns 12 real estate, 12 pieces of property, 12 homes around the state, so That's the first thing we're going to go after, is any property that he owns. All right. So now that we know he has real estate, that obviously means this guy's got some money or he's doing something right, right, to be able to acquire all that property. So, what do we do now? So let's keep looking into them. Let's go further. What else can we find? So then they start looking into your financials. Where do you work? What kind of job do you have? How do you create income? What kind of bank accounts do you have? And they start really digging into you. So let me say it this way. That person that is suing you, they hire the attorney. The attorney does some initial searches and they can't find anything about you. They're like, oh, well, maybe they find, I don't even know what they would find. Maybe they find nothing at all. They're going to immediately think, all right, well, odds are this guy probably doesn't have a lot, or if they do, it's going to be so much work to dig in and start trying to penetrate all these fields that he has up that are blocking me. It's probably not even worth it. Let's just figure out a way to maybe settle. Let's figure out a way so you don't get drugged through the mud. You don't have to deal with these lawsuits that go on for years and years and years. And again, I've seen it happen. So things like asset protection, protecting yourself through the use of LLCs and trusts, as an example. So we have Brent Carlson coming on this weekend to talk to you all about asset protection. And then the beautiful thing about asset protection, and this includes incorporating things like insurance policies like IBC and how this all works together. But one of the nice things about asset protection is inherently it starts then leading you into the conversation of taxes. So how do you start saving money on taxes? And one of the best ways to do that is to own a company, whether it's just an LLC or something more, and, taking advantage of different things like IRAs, taking advantage of different things like infinite banking, and taking advantage of all these strategies and then getting them all to work together and using things like real estate to create write-offs for yourself. So then we're going to start creating, more legacy money, because the more money you can keep, the more you can do for your family and you can do for the future and for your generations. And so we're going to start talking about that legacy and creating that legacy for you, your family, or whatever is important to you in the future. So those are the 3 pillars of Money School. I hope that kind of opens some of your eyes if you haven't heard some of that before and wondered, hey, what is this all about? Why do we come on these Wednesday webinars? Why do we go to these 3-day trainings? From your side, and why do Chris and I and Shauna and Hannah and Brent and Andrew and Sodi and our entire team, why do we do what we do every single day? And this is what it's all about right here. So, so the rest of the stuff on here, again, I'll put on the comments over there. I can't see the chat right now, but I'll open it up in a second. We'll put over there, watch the previews. We went through pretty good detail, these slides exactly, going through the different things as I was talking about with taxes, volatility, with inflation. So we go through all this stuff in pretty good detail. So watch those previews, but I just wanted to give you a little bit more exactly what we have going on. So again, it's the 26th, the 27th, and 28th. It started out 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Chris and I weren't finishing till like 3:30 or 4. So we moved it to 2:30. Now it's moved to 3 o'clock. And again, just a warning, we probably will stay later because we don't stop. We'll keep going. If you want to keep asking questions, if you want to keep going with the training, Chris and I will keep delivering for you. So let's rock and roll and have some fun this weekend. So I'm going to switch over and pull up one different screen right now and just check the chat box. Okay, it looks like Shauna has been on there adding some different, answering some questions and stuff like that. So thanks, Shauna, for doing that. So just one question I see here. When you say find, how exactly does one find these motivated sellers? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways we can target. So one way we do is using software. So we can use, for instance, we use a software program called Flipping Edge, which is software that Chris developed for the flipping business. And it's going to allow you to target certain neighborhoods. It's going to allow you to target certain areas, certain price points. So if you know there's certain areas that there's a lot of turnover, but it's a good neighborhood, or maybe a new business is coming, something like that, you can target to find those motivated sellers. We can use things like probate lists. We can work with attorneys. We can start looking at teaching you how to search public records for things like divorces, people moving out of state. There's a lot of different motivated sellers. And, down here in South Florida, in certain communities where I live in South Florida, people still just use the old "we buy homes for cash" signs. One guy I do a lot of business with, and they do 3-digit flips a year. They're doing, over 100 a year. They do that once every 2 weeks. They'll go out and they'll spend 100, $200, and they'll pay somebody 100 or $200 to go place a bunch of signs. Now, do the signs get taken down pretty quickly in most municipalities these days? Absolutely. Are you fine? Can you be fined for putting those signs up? Yeah, you can. But if I get a $50 sign and make a $10,000 assignment fee out of it, or 60,000 on a flip, maybe I'm willing to give give it the division at the county or the city or the town, that $50, it's $50 in fines, go ahead, take it. But, there's a lot of different ways, and those signs do work in some places, and some places they don't. So there's a lot of different ways to find motivated sellers, to find people looking that you can wholesale or get in there with these flips. It's just a matter, and we do have some trainings on this. Chris Rude's going to talk about it on the 3-day as well. And I'll have him share some additional information on strategies he's doing, because each area is a little bit different as well around the country. Okay. Is that tax reason to create an LLC for a business? Can all these only work for U.S. citizens? So I'm gonna skip over the questions because we're hitting the 2:30 mark right now, and I just wanted to highlight the website one more time for you. But I will say we are having the Ask Me Anything that starts in 2 hours. So if you have questions, hop on there, and then we'll have a whole team that'll be on answering all your questions, responding right away, and we can go ahead and get a little bit more in depth with it. So let's go ahead and do that, since it's 2 hours away and we're already hitting the time. So if you have any questions, make sure you log in at 2:30, or feel free to send me an email. All right. So if you want to hop on the phone and discuss, hey, is this 3-day training right for you? Or if you want to ask any other questions about the money multiplier, about self-directed IRAs, about real estate, about the private money club, anything whatsoever, just shoot me an email and we'll schedule a time to either chat on the phone for a few minutes or figure out how we can best help you. All right. Either that or hop on the Ask Me Anything here at 2 o'clock, here in 2 hours. All right. So with that being said, let me just pull back up one time here. I can figure out how to do it. All right, here. All right, so when you go to moneyschooltraining.com/registration, this is the 3-day Money School Essentials virtual training. This did start out as a live training. Before COVID hit, Chris and I were traveling the country. We were flying to different cities around the country where we would do live previews, and then we would come spend 3 days with you in person. Now, there's an advantage to being in person and there's a disadvantage. So the disadvantage is it was not recorded. You had to actually take your time. You had to happen to be in a city or be willing to travel to where we were to spend those 3 days. The cost was a lot more because we had to pay for the ballroom in the hotel, the hotel room, sleeping rooms for all the staff, all of the plane tickets and all of the transportation costs and rental cars and everything that goes into live in-person events. And they weren't even recorded. So we were charging $2,000 for the 3-day events at that time. Because that they are now virtual now, you lose the in-person feel. But with as good as Zoom has gotten and being able to do Zoom calls afterwards and phone calls afterwards and chat with you the entire time throughout and do breakout sessions if we want to, Zoom's come a long way. So we've been able to almost create the in-person feel virtually. But the greatest part is we record it. We give you the recordings so you can go back and watch them over and over and over again. We're able to bring in more experts to train you because we don't have to pay for them to fly in and pay for their accommodations and everything. So we're now able to bring them on these virtual trainings at essentially no cost to us. So we can bring more people on for you. You don't have to be there. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. And it's only $297 because we're able to eliminate all those other costs. So it's actually become a pretty cool thing to be able to do that. So this is the 3-day virtual training. The next one, like we said, is coming up this weekend, the 26th, 27th, and 28th. It starts Friday morning at 10 a.m. So as I said before, Chris and myself are going to be with you the entire day on Friday, talking all about money. And then we will have that bonus session that will not be recorded where Sodi will join us. And that bonus session will probably start about 2:30. And that'll be all about the market patterns, predictions, and how to prepare and adapt for what's coming in this market that we live in this economy that we live in right now. Then on Saturday, Day 2, 10 a.m., we're going to hop back in and we're going to start with Kevin Shortell talking about notes. We're getting into Chris Rude with wholesaling. Then we get into Spencer with crypto, Jack Bosch flipping land, which, by the way, Chris and Dimitri are going through the flipping land coaching with Jack right now. And from my understanding, they have 3 properties that they have either under contract or are putting under contract. And they have one that they already have a buyer on. And from my understanding, it was purchased for, I want to say I don't know, Sean, if you're on, if you can correct me, but it was something that we can talk about this weekend, but it was something like 7,000 and the contracts for like 24,000. So it was like a $17,000 profit that they already have from that first deal that they have under contract and a buyer ready to buy it. So they're out there rocking and rolling. They just started that coaching right after the last 3 days we did, which was like 6 weeks ago. So that's some awesome training. So look forward to that. We have Bo coming on with Seed Capital. He's going to show you how to get 0% startup money. So if you're looking at launching a wholesale business, launching some kind of business, he can show you how to go out there and get that 0% startup money right away. And then on Sunday, we're going to, keep rocking and rolling. We're going to get into flipping Edge, talk about entities and asset protection. We have Brent Kessler coming on, CEO and founder of Money Multiplier, to talk about privatized banking and the infinite banking concept. And like I said, Chris and I will be on with you the entire time, and we will be answering questions and talking with you the entire 3-day training as well. And then from here, starting Monday, we'll be scheduling those calls and working on what we call your financial GPS. So what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to get to? What over those 3 days did you like? What are those 1 or 2 strategies you're going to focus on right now and start implementing and taking action on, and let you get you from that financial GPS from where you are right now to where you want to get to in the quickest, most efficient and effective way possible. And that's what we will be doing with you starting Monday following the 3-day class. So hop on this website if you want to see any testimonials, anything like that. The first 2 previews are on here, and the third one is over there in the chat box. So watch those previews. If you want to learn a little bit more about the speakers, they are on here as well. And everything that you will be getting, including all the bonuses, you can check that out on this website also. And then you just click reserve my seat, input your information, and look out for the emails. We'll email you informations for the Zoom links for this weekend on how to join our education platform, which is Teachable, which is where the recordings will be placed, the file vault. So the file vault will be in there, the code for your free self-directed IRA, as well as the education package will be in there, and your membership for the 1 month of MSTV will also be in there included. So that is everything that we got going on. Let me end this right here. So I just wanted to thank everybody for hopping on and sticking on with me during this entire time, myself and Sodi. Sodi, if you're still here, thank you very much, sir, for coming on. I always learn something new every time you join us. So I'm looking forward to hearing more this weekend with the bonus session, as well as the training that you're going to be doing also. So anybody else that has any other questions, as I said, please email me, Snaggy at chrisnaugle.com, or please join us for the Ask Me Anything, which starts at 4:30 Eastern, a little under 2 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off and stop this recording. We'll see you guys next Wednesday on the Wealth Webinar Series. Thank you so much.